What up, guys? It's your brother Joe here, and once again I am bringing you my team career mode. We are now at Zandvoort. We are looking at all areas of corporate things, including car upgrades and which ones to take. So we are working our way forward with developing the car and hoping it has some impact. We've also picked a third sponsor now. I'm not even going to try and pronounce what the third sponsor is though, because I'm not gonna lie, I can't. But we've got that. We've filled up the days up to the Dutch Grand Prix with activities, so all that remains to be done is to get that third sponsor sticker on the car and go to the race. Now, practice ended in a couple of very interesting incidents which were a result of me pushing too hard. The first of which, I'm doing my qualifying run and I'm absolutely trying to find the limit of where this corner is. And I think I found it there. I hit the wall, and after hitting the wall I was literally unable to take avoiding action or stop the car to stop myself hitting Perez, and well, that ends in a 5-place grid drop, which is fair enough really. And then the second of which, and some of the more eagle-eyed amongst you will recognise this one from a separate upload, I found a barrier that seems to be entirely made of all the springs Homer Simpson flushed down the toilet. That is such a weird crash, and it just flings me straight backwards. And in qualifying, you know, I didn't really show anything of qualifying, but we managed to get P18.
It was 35 years ago that the late great Niki Lauda took his 25th and final Grand Prix win here at Zandvoort. He came from 10th on the grid to beat his McLaren teammate Alain Prost by just 0.2 of a second. Well, Zandvoort is a very different circuit today, of course, but still one with an incredible legacy. And we're going to add to that. Welcome along to the 2020 Dutch Grand Prix. A lap of this short 2.6 mile Zandvoort circuit features 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left. The main straight is 678 metres long and heads into turn 1, the Tarzan corner. With DRS down the main straight into the braking zone, that could be the best overtaking opportunity on the track. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Verstappen, Leclerc, Sebastian Vettel and Albon, Sainz, Norris, Perez and Daniel Ricciardo, Stroll, Ocon, Daniel Kvyat and Magnussen, Raikkonen, Grosjean, Pierre Gasly and Antonio Giovinazzi, Russell, Schumacher, Latifi and Oldtimer. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So we are on the grid in Zandvoort, then as I said, we didn't really show anything from qualifying because not much happened. It's lights out and away we go here. We're starting stone dead last thanks to that penalty. Mick Schumacher squeezing me into the wall there, and now we've pretty much been forced to the outside to try and make some positions up, but Latifi not giving me that much room as he is side by side himself with what I believe is Romain Grosjean, and there is Giovinazzi there trying to get past me around the outside. I don't think so. I'm shutting that one straight down. So we are up into P20 and Mick Schumacher's having a little go at me there. The two Arrows F1 cars getting very, very racy there. And that's not a part of the circuit you want to be getting racy at. Literally not at all. It's basic ingredients for a crash, that one. So now we're trying to get past what I believe is Nicholas Latifi. And we're just going to send this one straight around the outside. He goes defensive, but we brake much later, nearly collecting Kimi Raikkonen in the process, who doesn't appear to be having such a good race. But we're already up into P18, and I'm starting to think, how many more positions can we make? Because of the nature of this circuit, overtaking is very much going to be a difficult thing to achieve around here. And actually, even keeping up with Raikkonen is proving a bit of a challenge. As Bottas having a big moment there, and that's him buried in the wall. He'll recover from that if he can reverse it out, but that has cost Bottas massively. And you can see we've gone through there. We've gained a position from that. We are up into 17th. Still just sort of diving around various parts of the circuit, just seeing if we can find a way past Kimi Raikkonen, because right now he is a complete thorn in our side, and it's a thorn in our side that we do not need. We need to get past him as soon as possible if we want to have any hope of any kind of championship points. I know there is rain coming a bit later in this race, so I wonder if strategy could also play a part in how this race unfolds. But we're now watching Charles Leclerc, who has also got it very wrong coming out of there, and he's kissed the barrier, but unlike Bottas, he's reversed it straight out, and he's getting it back going again. I think he's going to emerge just in front of Kimi Raikkonen, who's now got the inside on him, and they're going to go side by side through the banking, but Kimi eventually getting ahead, and Leclerc backing out of that one. That's not a place you want to go side by side in. Me and Jake did it in a online race the other day, and I literally, well, a little piece of poo came out, to say the least. But don't worry, I am not leaving you with that image. We are now still trying to chase down Charles Leclerc and Kimi Raikkonen. We are currently sat in P17, and there's a yellow flag in front of us. Someone has blown up right in front of us there, and I believe that's the Williams of George Russell. That's unfortunate for him. He was running something like 14th, 15th. So he was looking at having a good race today, so that's a disappointment for him to be retiring in that fashion. And you can see now it's clouding over a bit more now. And I'm thinking with these tyres, is it worth holding them out until I have to pit? Can that gain me some positions? So with the knowledge that, you know, I need to make these tyres last, I'm not pushing quite as hard on them as I normally would be. And in fact, I've given that curb a wide berth, which to be fair, you should do anyway, because every time you hit that curb, you either go very sideways or you lose a lot of momentum. And as you can see there, we were looking quite good to go after Leclerc, but it just didn't happen. But now cars are starting to pit, so this is where our strategy starts coming into fruition, because we've moved up from 17th to 13th, and we're getting ever closer to the rear of that Ferrari, who just for whatever reason can't pass Raikkonen. I think he may have sustained some damage as we try and have a look around the outside when he went off. So we're now pushing still, but at the same time trying to nurse the tyres. Kimi Raikkonen is into the pits, and I think quite a few other cars also in the pits, which puts us up to P7 out of 21. So we're currently looking at 6 World Championship points. But part of me is now thinking, is Leclerc takeable? He does seem to be nursing damage, especially around the slower corners. We just seem to have so much more speed going in, and you can see it now, rain on the screen. So it is starting to rain, and we are now up into P6 through other cars pitting. So we're going along extremely nicely here. But now it's a case of waiting to see whether we come in for wets now or how long it will take. Apologies for that. Anyway, we're now right behind Leclerc, and we are starting to think about maybe having a lunge on him for P5. Sorry, he is not getting away from us at all. That front wing damage, especially now we've got damp conditions, really not helping him. And now we're in the zone to have a look. We dive up the inside there, but we're not going to make the corner, sadly. And Leclerc is just going to get the cut back on us. And again, we can just sort of try and stay with him. And you see a replay there where I just go completely deep. But now we go to the next lap. Are we going to have another try? Are we close enough to? We've certainly got a good bit of momentum coming out of the corner now. And Leclerc is looking pretty ripe. Are we going to get at him? We're going to take a very late dive up the inside, using all the track and a little bit more. And that right there is P5. We are running 5th in the Dutch Grand Prix, and it is raining and the circuit is getting ever damper. So I decide this must be the lap to come in for intermediate tyres. Now my only concern at this point is, will they go to the end from here? I'm quite heavy on my tyre wear, but for now we are running 5th. What a result that would be if we could just make it to the end. And the DRS disabled sign coming up, proving to me that we made the call to pit at exactly the right time. Now it's just a matter of keeping the car on the track for 19 more laps after pitting. We're now on lap 22 and Perez is starting to catch us just a little bit, so we kind of need to get a move on just in case we do need to pit again. And that was a big moment coming out of there. My heart definitely in my mouth while that happened. You can see Perez in the background there, and we are going for it, trying to get the gap to Perez just in case we do need another pit stop. And that, I'm not going to lie, that was scary. I literally felt my heart skip about 50 beats doing that. We're now getting quite clear of Perez. We're up to 5 seconds. We're still getting it sideways towards the end of Sector 1. I tell you what, racing this track in wet conditions requires some of the most intense concentration I think I've ever had to use while playing an F1 game, and we've managed to get 14 seconds up to Perez, so we're pretty close to that pit stop zone if we need it. And in fact, I do think that looking at what the tyre wear was, you know, we did decide that at some point we probably would pit. It's getting very wet now, and we were sort of thinking, is it going to go into full wet territory? But at this point, you know, 5 laps to go. If it did, I would have just stuck it out. It is very wet. It's still raining quite hard. And we come up to the penultimate lap now. And at this point, I had glanced at my tyre wear, and it was heading to that dangerous... It had gone over that dangerous 70% where you could get a puncture any minute. And well, while it does work differently for the intermediates, I wasn't willing to take too much of a chance with it. So we decided to make that pit stop, having the gap to Perez anyway. So it's no loss in taking a second set of intermediates and just making sure that we get to the end and grab that 5th place. What an incredible result that'll be, but we've still got one more lap to do. And I'm telling you this much now, I was just praying that we get to the end, and it's a bit wide there, but we managed to get away with that, and we come out of the banked corner having another big moment out of there. And Max Verstappen has taken the win of his home Grand Prix. Holland goes into raptures, or what's there, because, you know, social distancing and whatnot. But we just have pretty much half of the lap to go, and we are going to get the best result of the season. It'll be P5 from the back of the grid, no less, on a circuit you can't overtake. That strategic call I made turning out to be complete genius, as was getting past Leclerc as well, because that made the difference between P6 and P5. And from the moment it rained, really, it was just about keeping the car on the track and getting the gap to Perez just in case we needed to pit again. I do believe Perez behind us actually had some kind of issue, because I heard it on the radio, but that allowed us to get the gap we needed in case of pitting again, and it was more of a precaution than anything else. But not enough of that now. Let's celebrate P5, 10 World Championship points from Zandvoort from the back. What a drive.
Many doubted whether they could pull off the win here in Zandvoort, but they have done, and done it in spectacular style. Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, keeping their tyre temperatures up in the tricky wet conditions was really important. There's not much grip out there at the best of times, and it's 10 times worse if you're out there on cold tyres. So the way they kept the rubber in its proper operating window was a huge advantage today.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves. So then, it's time to see.
I think I'm having to pinch myself seeing that result, but look at that. P5, 10 championship points for the Arrows team. Verstappen, Hamilton, Albon, the top three, followed by Vettel, myself, Perez, Sainz, Ricciardo, Leclerc only getting 9th in the end, and Lance Stroll picking up that final point. And with that, we are now in the top 10 of the standings. 4 points finishes in a row. Will we make it 5 in Spain? All that remains to be said is thank you so much for watching. Once again, I will leave you with the race highlights. That was an incredible race, if not a bit dull towards the end, not going to lie. The last 20 laps, nothing really happened other than me having a few big moments, as you saw there. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.